Okay, folks, what is going on? In this video, I want to talk to you about how you can simplify your coaching or consulting business down to one single KPI. Okay, a little bit of background, a little bit of context before we jump into this. One of the big things that we do differently in my world and with my clients is we help them get clients in their businesses without sales calls. Okay, and in order to do that, we leverage either a Google Doc or a PDF. I've been doing this for many, 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 many years, and originally, I started closing stuff in the DMs because I come from a corporate world where we used to do very, very big deals with 1 or 2 page term sheets. And it was always weird to me, like, why are we getting on a 60-minute conversation to spend $5,000, right? Like, you're in business, I'm in business. Here's what's included. Let's just do it or don't do it. You know, it always seemed crazy to me. And I did the strategy session thing. I made well over $1 million with strategy sessions because that's what I should do. And I'd done the DM thing before that. And then I went to the strategy sessions because that was the thing to do to scale. And then I was like, fuck this. I don't want to bring on a bunch of setters and closers. Anyway, then I went kind of deeper and deeper down that rabbit hole and have been refining that process over the last 4 years, really. So it's very dialed at this point. Okay. And here's the thing. Most people think when you tell them that, they're like, oh, that must be a crazy fancy PDF or Google Doc, or there's like some real ninja copy stuff going on. And look, the offer needs to be on point. There's some kind of offer fundamentals that you have to follow. It needs to be a strong offer in terms of deliverables. Like, it needs to have the right deliverables that match with the offer. There needs to be a clear plan that you're going to work on together in order to solve a problem, achieve an outcome, or both. The pricing needs to be right. The pricing strategy needs to be right. The relevant de-risking mechanisms, depending on the market and the offer and the brand, need to be there. The duration needs to be right. So the offer fundamentals have to be on point. But outside of that, it doesn't need to be anything crazy. Essentially, it's just a document that's inviting people. It's like, hey, do you want to do this thing together? You've obviously been following me. You like my content. You've seen my ads, blah, blah, blah. Here's what we're working on together. Do you want to come or not? Right. Best kind of example is like, hey, me and my buddy Nick are going to get steak for dinner. Do you want to come? Right. It's like, we're doing this either way. Do you want to come along? Right. There's no convincing. There's no arm twisting. It's literally like, hey, here's an invitation to come join us if you want to come along. And if you want to do this thing, whatever the offer is, here's what's included. Here's the price. Here's some payment options. Just let me know either way. Right. It's very relaxed, very chilled out. Okay. So that's one of the core kind of points of difference in terms of how we sell coaching and consulting offers, as opposed to the majority of the market doing sales calls. And it's really just for the person that wants a simpler approach. Either they don't want to be on the phone themselves, or they're not interested in hiring setters and closers. Okay. So with that in mind, what I want to share with you today is how we can boil this entire thing down to one simple metric. Okay. Here's what's really important when you implement a strategy like this. Your brand and your ecosystem and your content needs to be on point, because you're essentially moving from a sales-driven business to a marketing-driven business. So all these coaching businesses that make a ton of money with people pounding the phones, they're sales-driven businesses. Nothing wrong with that. It's one way to approach it. If you want to eliminate that component of your business, you have to pick up the slack, or you have to pick up the weight of the nurturing, the objection handling, the relationship building, answering the questions in your marketing. Okay. You can't just pull out a call, keep everything else the same, and expect that it's going to work. It will not. Okay. And so we need to make sure we've got a really, really robust brand and marketing ecosystem on point. Ideally, one that grows on autopilot with ads or organic strategies, and 2, nurtures in a really, really deep way through different touch points, emails, YouTube. They're 2 of my biggest favorites. You can have social media content. You build assets that people can consume in their own time. Really good example of this is my playbook that I'll put in the description. But you essentially engineer an ecosystem where people can consume and consume and consume until such a point as they're ready to step forward. Then they either get sent or just see that invitation. It's a fit. The timing's right. They pay. You rock and roll. Okay. Now, where this kind of one core metric comes into things is the way that I recommend my clients build this out, at least initially, is around one core offering. Okay. And so this model that I've got in front of me on the screen here is what I call my lifestyle business system. And this is what I help my clients implement inside my Lifestyle Business Academy. There's a link below if you want to check that out. But you can see here, all the traffic, all the attention flows towards one signature offer. And so this one single KPI, this one metric that we just need to focus on is getting clicks to this offer. Okay. And so when we've got this offer in place, when we've got it dialed in, when it's in a proven format and a proven structure, we can simply focus on, all right, let's ratchet up the number of people, the number of the right people that see it every single day. Okay. And so now we can focus on just simply stacking pathways to this document. We don't have to worry about the conversion rate on the funnel, the drop-off rates on the VSL, the number of applications that are converting to calls, the number of calls that are converting to show-ups, the 45-minute long script and where that might be breaking down, right? The 800-point follow-up system. We just need to worry about getting the right people to see the document. Okay. It is one number that if you dial it up, you'll sell more. If it's lower, you'll sell less. Okay. That's the big distinction. That's the one KPI is qualified clicks to the offer. Okay. Now there's two things I want to talk about in this. One, what comes before the offer, and two, what we can do after the offer to monetize in multiple different ways. Okay. So the first thing is, well, how do we generate enough clicks, enough volume to an offer like this in order to get a number of clients? Okay. Many, many ways that you can approach it. And it's going to depend on how you want to run your business, right? As I'm sitting here, it's April 2025. For the last few years, I've done this in a big way with what I would call a social selling approach. So it's been very social media heavy, particularly organically, into the DMs, and then the offer goes over that way. I've been re-engineering my own business, especially over the last 3 or 4 months. I just had my second son, and I wanted to pull back from social media more, or at the very least use it in a different way. And so we've been moving to closing more and more deals with remarketing ads, through automations on Instagram, and simply through people replying to an email, and then we send the document over that way. So less back and forth in the DMs, right? But the DMs are still very much a valid mechanism. I'm just shifting things up in my own business just because of the season of life that I'm in. Okay, but here's the key thing to understand. Once you've got that document in place, you can focus on just stacking pathways, all pointing back to that main thing. Okay, so let me explain what I mean by that, right? So I've had, for example, my Facebook profile forever and a day. It's made me millions of dollars, and it's a very effective, simple marketing tool. I can make really, really simple posts on there with a call to action or without a call to action. And I'll get DMs from people saying, hey dude, can you tell me more about your academy? Hey dude, can you tell me more about how you get clients without calls? Hey dude, can you tell me more about how I might be able to work with you, right? Then I can send the document and boom, that's clicks. That's one example. We run remarketing ads on Meta, right? You might have seen them. These go to a bridge page, which goes to the document. The remarketing ads have things in them like testimonials, like me talking about kind of my general philosophies around business. Sometimes it's just a direct call to action. Then it goes to a bridge page, which goes to the document. Boom, we're getting clicks from people who are in my world because it's remarketing, and then they're heading back to the offer document, right? Another example, I can send 1 to 2 emails a day. People reply with a keyword, and then boom, the offer goes over to them either with a link to buy in it, or they can reply and then we can send them the link that way. There's 2 different ways that you can approach it. Same with this YouTube video, for example. Below, there's a link to a bridge page, which then goes over to the document for my Lifestyle Business Academy. That drives more clicks. If you go check out my Instagram, you'll see we've got a bunch of posts where people can comment to get a free resource. Then there's automations that sit behind the scenes that send people into different funnels, but also send people over to that bridge page, which sends them back to the document. You're getting my point here, which is we've got one central point that we're trying to move everybody to. And then one by one, we build these pathways and we build these layers that achieve 2 things. 1, they drive clicks to the document. And 2, people can move between them. They can go from reading an email to watching a YouTube video to following you on Instagram to downloading a resource and going through the playbook like I've got in the description until such a time that they visit the document and purchase. Okay. So that's the first thing. That's how we approach this. And it's really just a matter of how many clicks do we need once we've got some data, ratchet it up, ratchet it up, ratchet it up, ratchet it up until we hit the target. Okay. Now that's on the first main offer on the front end. So in my world, that's a 2K offer, right? Typically, you're going to want this to be somewhere between 1 and 10K, right? Then what we can do, and you can see this on the right-hand side, the post funnel, we onboard, they come through the program. Then on the back end, you can get into retention, you can get into, so renewals to increase LTV, you can get into ascending people up. Quite often I'll do a call with an LBA client, and then I'll be like, look, I'd probably recommend we do one-to-one, right? If someone comes in, like I've had people in there starting new, I'll probably keep them in the academy. I've had people coming in doing 50, 100, 300,000 a month. To them, I'm like, look, you can stay in here. That's totally cool. This is the full operating system of how I do things. And you've got the group support. But someone at your level, we should probably be doing one-to-one. And I can make them a 10, 20K offer. And then we ascend up there. Or they can go through the operating system. They can get involved. And then they might ascend up later. But the point is, just because you've got this one central point on the front end that you're moving everyone to, that doesn't mean you can't monetize in other ways on the back end. Okay. You can also have cross sells. Once people are in, they can move into other areas. There's lots of cool stuff that you can do. But in the interest of aggressively simplifying things, having that one core offer that you ultimately move people to and focusing on the key metric of qualified clicks to that offer every single day by stacking those pathways, it's a very, very powerful way to be hyper-focused and let the compound effect kick in. Because here's what happens. Not everyone's going to buy the first time they see an offer. Quite often, like for example, I've had 3 onboarding calls in the last 24 hours with people. And I think in nearly all those cases, they reached out, they said, yep, I'm in, give me a couple of days. And then boom, they jumped in, right? The key here is you've got to learn to hold the line because it's not just happening immediately on a phone. There's a little bit of faith in the process, and you need to be, continuing to show up, continuing to make a compelling case that they should join, right? So just because someone clicks doesn't mean they're going to buy immediately at that point. But what happens is those clicks compound over time. So if we send 300 clicks to the document in 1 week, you'll pick up some clients, but then you might have another 290 people that have seen the offer, are floating around the ecosystem. Now they've got that context about the offer, and they will trickle in, not all of them, but a percentage of them will trickle in over the next 1, 3, 6, 12 months. Okay. And so the more that you consistently send those clicks, then the passage of time, those conversions will increase and stack on top of each other. And that's how you can really compound things. Okay. So if you're looking to simplify, if you like the idea of just focusing on one clear thing, then you can do monetization and different cool shit on the back end, right? You can get into rev share, you can do partnerships, you can do one-to-one, you can do masterminds, you can cross-sell people into different things. But you like the idea of simplifying down to one core thing, selling it with this invitation style document, and just focusing on one core metric of stacking qualified clicks. Check out the Lifestyle Business Academy. I give you all my playbooks, made me millions of dollars, my clients, many, 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 many millions of dollars. I give you the templates, I give you the scripts, I give you the resources, all the stuff. It's all in there. You get office hours with me every week. We meet on calls every 2 weeks. And there's really nothing else out there at that price point at 2K that comes close. Okay. So check it out. I'd love to have you in there. But even if you don't and you go and tackle this on your own, think about how you can simplify things down to one core metric so that you can keep things as simple as possible. Okay. Appreciate you hanging out with me. I'll talk to you soon. Cheers.